Hello and welcome to the Horror Cinema Podcast. I'm Joe. Here with me is my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
Today's movie is Jurassic Park The Lost World. I'll be honest, when it comes to the novels, I actually prefer the second novel to the first one to a large extent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just due to the themes and the character discussions and the action-adventure element. I find is better in the second one than the first one. Now, as to the movie, it's undeniable that the first one's probably better.
Yeah.
Very likely. Now, the second movie did have its strong points. Now, I actually do like the discussion between Hammond and Ian, and the fact that Ian's sneered at by society. Now, Ian is nowhere near as cold and cynical as he is in the novel, which, okay, I don't mind that. But you can see that he has become a bit colder and harsher since the last movie. He's also clearly suffering from PTSD, which is excellently portrayed by Jeff Goldblum when he is on screen and not being cast aside by Spielberg, who doesn't care about the character or the arc of the character.
Oh yeah, of course.
Now, they merged the character of Kelly with her black friend from the novel, which I always forget his name because he's that important in the book. It's not that important. Merge the two into one, into a mixed race young lady whose actress is perfect, who ends up being Ian's kid. Now, Michael Crichton did not make this Ian's kid, but he should have. That was a point where Spielberg got something there. Another point to Spielberg. Well, 1 point to Spielberg, I mean. And you've got, now she's a gymnast. She's very mouthy, and you already see in her first scene that, hell, her dad, really reminds me of some of his stutters and how he is behaving at the beginning of the first movie. And then, like her saying, you like kids, but you don't like, you don't like parenting them. She has the same IQ as her dad, and the same ability to take her IQ and use it like a knife on those around her. Now, he used his IQ the same way in the first movie and in a few points in the second one. I've noticed that. The way they insult people is the same. The way they criticize people is the same. Like, even the accent was well adjusted between the two. Like, they're down to the small habits the two characters have. So that's where I find that's the strongest point of the movie, is this father-daughter bond and their interactions with each other. Ian's interactions with his daughter are the best in the whole movie. Like, that's the best part of the movie. Period. And I actually think she's a better child character and child actress than the ones in the first movie. Now, I do like the ones in the first movie, Lex and Tim, but I like Kelly a lot more. I find her a much more dynamic character. And I like her push-and-pull relationship with her dad, which it would be because, well, this is Ian Malcolm. If his kid's going to have anything of him in her, she's going to have that attitude and that genius IQ.
Yeah.
And right from the start, she challenges him. But you also see that she loves him and she wants his approval and she wants to spend time with him. He wants to spend time with her, but he has an idiot to babysit. Not her. I mean, his bimbo girlfriend. Now, in the book, Sarah Harding's a badass. She rides a motorcycle. She's more like Andrea from Reboot in a lot of ways. She loves hyenas. She hates dealing with Jurassic Park. She actually doesn't even want to go to Isla Sorna, and she says, why the hell would you go, Ian? That's a stupid decision. Well, the one moron went. Oh, come on, don't. Like, he's already dead, Ian. I have to go after him. I have a moral obligation to the guy. Fine, be a do-gooder. But then what's her reaction? Fine, I'm going to go join him. She's like, I'm going to come to the rescue. And you know what? She actually does come to the rescue. When the Raptors destroy the Hi-Hi, it's her who comes to the rescue. And she's a total badass. Now, the thing that Spielberg did was he took, the one Hunter Roland? He divided Sarah into him and then fused her with the one idiot character. Taking the Sarah Harding character and putting it into Roland. Basically, he gender washed the actual Sarah and gender washed the idiot character and named him Sarah. I will say this was gender washing. And that's my problem here.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll actually say this. It does not come off well from Spielberg. Now, I do like the Roland character. His actor is perfect. He played, now he's dead. Oh, sad. I think he died of testicular cancer.
Ooh.
And he was a really great guy. He was in Dragonheart, his best movie. In there, he played a skinny guy. But in here, he's a muscle-bound badass. I love Roland. But a lot of the accomplishments of leading the team, of saving the team, are taken from Sarah and given to him. And I really don't appreciate that. Now, Sarah and Vic Van Owen, the two psychopaths of the movie, don't give a rat's ass about anyone except their own narcissistic egos. Now, from the beginning, Sarah decided she'd go out into Jurassic Park, or the factory, or Isla Sorna, to go find herself some real dinosaurs, because she's obsessed. And it's all about her, really. Now, it's not because she actually loves dinosaurs, it's because she loves herself and her ego. And it's about proving her theories about T-Rex mating habits and their parental habits. Habits which the general scholarship was already turning towards her side. And she says the classic way was that T-Rexes would be willing to eat or abandon their children. Now, I want to prove that idea wrong, even though it's already been proven wrong in the academic world. It's more about stamping her name on it. And now, Ian comes in to rescue her, and she sneers at him continuously, tries to emasculate him, mocks him, and says, listen, I love that you rode here on a white horse, but I don't need it. Or she says, like, oh, well, why didn't you come to rescue me from dinner with your parents or something? Basically saying, I hate your parents. Yeah, there's a slight difference here. And the other thing is, she also tries at various points to suddenly turn his daughter against him early on. Saying, like, deliberately driving the argument over to the daughter, or saying, yeah, you tell him, Kelly. When Kelly says, hey, I just thought I'd help. Yeah, what do you expect when you always try to cage her? She ought to be independent. And I couldn't help but think, you know what? Maybe Sean Connery had a point about slapping people when they're being hysterical or stupid. Now, I'm not advocating domestic violence. Don't ever slap a woman. That's wrong. It's very wrong. You never do that. But the thing about Sarah is she's mean-spirited. I actually think Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones is a nicer lady and more supportive of her men. I could actually... Now, she pushed her husband to alcoholism and into wanting to commit... and into basically suicide. And she's nicer. She at least took one moment in the show to bond with him, sit down with him, and say, man, we've made a fine mess of things. And you have him, yeah, our marriage was a disaster. And you have her, well, at least we have each other, dryly. Yeah, and they're both drunks, and they're both terrible drunks and violent people. But you have him. Yeah, I guess we deserve each other at this point. No, he's like, we become real bastards. I guess we kind of deserve each other.
Mm-hmm.
No, but you have Robert Baratheon who says that sadly, and you have her. I guess so, and you have him. Well, we'll always have our hatred, and you have him. And I think he says something like, and I know we're gonna try to kill each other. So he toasts at her and says, to the first blood, or something. But here's the thing. Cersei just smiles, yeah, I guess. But this woman's like, yeah, don't care. But hell, how does she react to the fact that emergency, when he calls on the phone from the high, she's like, oh, who cares about the phone? Worry about the T-Rex. Hell, the T-Rex, her reaction is, oh, Ian's gonna pop his lid over this. No, you think? Because you're endangering your life. You're getting it sent all over you. You're wiping it all over the trailer. And you don't expect, and you know that T-Rexes have very protective instincts, and you don't expect this to go wrong. You don't expect this to blow up in your face.
And as much as Spielberg is essentially forcing Kelly and Sarah to bond,
They don't really talk after the beginning of or exchange anything after the beginning.
After the entire matter of the baby T-Rex,
Kelly's the first one to go, other animals are going to hear this. Dad, I want to go away. I want to go somewhere high. Please. And you have Ian. Wait, what? What's wrong with you? Please, I need to go away from here. I need to get away. And you have Ian, who then realizes and goes, what she's thinking, and goes, uh-oh. Now, what's interesting is Sarah continuously violates the relationship with Kelly, as well as Ian's relationship, so to speak, with her. And you don't really see the two after that bond. And it's really interesting that they have no interactions. Yeah, there's the tent scene, but there's no real interactions even there. Now, she does drag Kelly after her, which, she did save Kelly. I will actually side with Sarah there. She does not endanger her there. She can't push her into the bushes because there are other dinosaurs that might be there to eat her. But that said, who dragged Kelly into this mess onto Jurassic Park?
Sarah.
It was not Ian.
And there's an interesting situation. No one's like, I want to get away from here. That shows that. Kelly is like, yeah, Sarah and Vic are screwing things up.
But who's the parent she trusts and loves, she knows will always be there to protect and support her?
Yeah, Ian. And she essentially said, yeah, screw Sarah and Vic, let's get out of here.
Let's go save ourselves. And when Ian says, I have to go back and save them, it's the right thing to do. She says, no, wait, I don't want you to go. I don't want you to go and die. And I don't want you to even risk yourself for them. Now she loves and worships her dad deep down, who, as he tends to put it, my queen, my lady, my queen, my goddess, my inspiration. It's a very tender, beautiful thing he does there. Now the thing is, Ian, this is the kind of, the bond between Kelly and Malcolm is really amazing. And I would say Ian has all the protective instincts of those two T-Rexes that came from their baby. Now, Vic grabbing the T-Rex and going, well, we have to help it, was really dumb. And he's a terrorist. Remember, he's an eco-terrorist who actively tries to murder other members of the team time and again. Notably, Roland, because Roland just says, I just want to hunt a T-Rex because these things won't survive. I want to hunt it down just to get a thrill, yes. But at the same time, Roland sees it as, I'd rather just risk my own life than anyone else's. And Roland, there is something noble about him because he keeps saying, well, we can't risk anyone's human life. Oh, no man left behind. He's constantly going, okay, I'm going to lead this expedition and I'm going to make sure everyone survives. He doesn't always save everyone, but his reaction is to shudder and look away when he actually discussed someone who died and was eaten by those little dinos. And then he's like, okay, he gets desperate to get everyone off the island. Vic, let's look at his track record. He brings up T-Rex where there's a child and proceeds to then say, screw everyone else's safety. The only human being on the team he seems to worry about is Sarah. I got the feeling he wanted to diddle her.
He even sabotaged the special bullets Roland had to take down the T-Rex.
Yeah, he doesn't care. And he even drops them down and all but sneers and says, ha! Try hunting it now! In his last scene. He continuously sabotages people's efforts to help the team and whatnot, or the two teams. And now he tries to take a moralistic stance of, you came to strip mine the place. We didn't. There's very little different between what you're doing and what the other guys are doing. Honestly, this island should just be nuked almost. These are monsters. Because these dinosaurs are not people. They're not natural. Dinosaurs, as Ian put it in the first movie, had their chance. And nature selected them for extinction. Which means, chuck them out. They are not natural. They can only disturb the natural ecology of the modern day world. And we have to preserve the modern ecosystems. That ancient one should not exist. It was man-made. It's disturbing the equilibrium, the cycle, the natural cycle of the rest of the world's ecosystems. Get rid of it, I argue. And honestly, like, Vic trying to protect the dinos to kill other human beings. This is an attempt to murder. He is trying to murder Roland. I mean, he got Roland's bestie essentially murdered, along with a lot of other people murdered by dragging that freaking T-Rex into the camp. He got Eddie murdered. Eddie was a nice guy and was just trying to help. But Sarah and Vic joined forces to murder Eddie by basically, with their stupidity. I would actually say that they should be tried for pretty much second and third degree murders, given the thing with Roland, and third degree murder essentially for Eddie. I also blame the one businessman, Hammond's nephew. I do know that he's guilty, I know. But Sarah and Vic are even more guilty than him.
I know, it's just, Sarah could have said, "What, are you bringing this injured dino? Forget it, I'm not operating on that."
But remember, she said, well, it's injured. We can't let it, what if it ends up living the rest of its life with a limp or something? It might get picked up by a predator. And she says it in such a haughty voice. It's like, that's the most important thing. That's the most important moral argument there. Honey, you're about to get Ian, who is an actual semi-cripple, because he does occasionally walk with when certain events happen, and when he strains his legs, when he overexerts himself, he actually regains his limp, and, you're damaging his leg, because there's the psychological element that does occasionally cause him to limp, and there is, when he exerts himself, you can see in a lot of the scenes, he does limp. He even becomes unable to walk without aid at one point. Now, you are putting him in danger. He's pretty much an actual cripple. And you're putting his daughter in danger of being crippled and murdered. Or eaten, I should say. Because animals can't really murder. But, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, but, I really despise her and Vic.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in the book, I love her character.
Because
although her character should have probably been portrayed by an actual attractive actress, and not Julianne Moore.
Yeah, the fact that when they captured the T-Rex, Roland is upset because it's like, I wanted to kill this creature. I
wanted to use it as bait to lure in mommy or daddy and shoot and kill it, and then I was going to get rid of the baby.
Yeah, it's like, I wanted to kill this adult dinosaur.
But I captured it instead.
And now my hands are tied.
And my best friend died. And he rejects the job. The ship comes in and T-Rex goes loose. How did all the crew members die? The baby wasn't on that one. That was a discrepancy in the movie. T-Rex goes on a rampage eating people. And it's retransported back to the island where Hammond argues, let's just leave it alone and let nature take its course. But I kind of regard that as that's another Hammond mistake. Why is anyone listening to this guy? He's a nice old man, but he's a really dumb one. Just freaking bomb the island. It is not natural. I mean, in the actual Jurassic Park 1 novel, the island gets bombed by the Costa Rican government. Bomb Isla Sorna.
It's like, the T-Rex and its baby are being sent on its way. Scuttle the ship.
Yeah, torpedo it. These dinosaurs are not natural. It would be different if there was a part of the world where they had survived and they were part of the ecosystem. But dinosaurs did not survive. Dinosaurs are gone. They have been for 65 million years.
For a reason.
Nature, as the professor, Michael Crichton, has said, often raises up these great dynasties of creatures and ecosystems, only for them to later fall. Dinosaurs had millions of years. Man has had thus far about 10,000 years thereabouts. Plus almost 100,000. Depending on the I think it's 20 or 30,000 years, given the archaeological evidence. And there will come a time when the dynasty of man will come to an end, and probably a new species will dominate the Earth. And that's fine. That is, unless we become interstellar, at which point I think we will expand to other planets, and I don't think Earth will be able to destroy us. then, but that's a theoretical. That's far into the future. I don't know what the future holds. It's not my problem, so to speak. But the thing is, this is the reality of the situation. So to revive the dinosaurs and try to preserve them is basically war on man almost, and on wolves and on sheep and on modern animals. Well, I feel bad for the one dog that wasn't doing anything wrong. But of course, we're supposed to feel bad for the T-Rex because Spielberg's a psychopath. And
it's like, you want to, hey, Mr. Eco-terrorist, you want to sympathize with these dinos? You can stay
on the island.
Yeah, stay on the island.
Human society doesn't need you. But he's a terrorist. And I can't help but, as the main villain of the movie, feel that, damn, he's going to go on to butcher more people and destroy more lives in the future. And I hate that. I really wanted him to get his comeuppance and get eaten.
But instead, everyone else had to suffer for his mistake.
Him and Sarah. And, like, now on to another issue. Now, here's the thing. By making Kelly's mom a absentee parent, I will admit I felt a little uncomfortable in that it's bringing to light neglectful black parents, which is a bad stereotype. There are a lot of black parents that are really good parents.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a friend who was a great godfather and uncle to his nephew, and all his nephews and nieces, and like he was their favorite uncle. He died. May his soul rest in peace in heaven. But the thing is, he he was a semi co-parent for one of our friends. So I can't help but feel a little annoyed because it's a bit of an attack on, what I mean? Like, it feels like it's an attack on our friend, or like a lot of African Canadians and Americans. And there is a single parent problem. But on the one hand, I feel like, oh, come on. Do you have to put that in the movie and say that her mom, Kelly's mom, abandoned her for Paris? Because it's the mom who would have to be black, given Ian's white. But because Kelly is apparently his biological child, because Ian stated in the first movie, all his children are biologically his. On the other hand, and we know that the paternity is probably firmly rooted, given the reactions and whatnot, although she physically takes after her mom, that's fine. Mom's DNA is probably genetically stronger there.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I can't help but appreciate that it did shed light on this problem, and that there is a problem in the divorce courts, because mom has primary custody in this movie. So, I have mixed feelings. On the one hand, part of me is going, I really don't like having Africans' culture in North America trashed, because I'm rather fond of African culture in North America and in Africa itself. I have quite a few friends who are of African descent. I love them. But on the other hand, I appreciate shedding light on this actual issue. So I have mixed feelings. I'm going to try to assume Spielberg had the best of intentions here. Mm-hmm. Although, on the other hand, I suspect he is a psychopath in real life. So there is that knowledge that kind of clouds things, I think. That said, he did succeed in portraying a really good father-daughter relationship. So, yeah, we'll just look at it in a positive light. It's better to look at it that way, I think. This movie is a horror thing, but it's also a road trip dad and daughter thing. I like to look at it that way. And I wish we got that Jurassic Park had focused on these two a little. Because halfway through the movie throws out Ian for a while and focuses on Vic and Sarah for no reason, and a bit on Roland, rather than Ian, who should have had a conversation with Roland, and another one with Vic and him. And that, hell, remember when Vic says, I see you got friendly with me. Vic's getting jealous over Sarah. And it's dude, isn't she the girlfriend of Ian? What's going on here? But she seems to have more scenes talking to Vic, so part of me is is she actually kind of seeing him? What's going on? I was confused.
Yeah.
Because partway through the movie, she doesn't interact with Ian until the end, where Ian finally gets actual scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, if they had written out Sarah and and instead taken all her scenes out and just had Ian and Kelly as the main leads in the movie, I would have probably been happy, because honestly, I don't care about Sarah in this movie. I just care about Kelly and Ian. They're the only characters I like. And Roland, I guess. I do like Roland.
Mm-hmm. The one scene about Roland that irked me was when he put Sarah in charge of the camp.
Oh, yeah, it's like, hey, are you the stupidest person around? Yeah? You're in charge. Why? Spielberg told me.
Spielberg told me the chick has to be in charge.
Yeah, you can see the... Okay, I don't want to backdate political agendas to 1995, but you can see the political agenda here. And, like, it's just, oh, Sarah's always right. But every decision she makes gets people murdered and eaten.
It's like she and Vic are the last people you want in charge. Hell,
okay, maybe not murdered. I shouldn't have used that term. I should have said eaten only.
Hell, even the idiot that was trying to lead that one expedition would be preferable
to her and Vic. Yeah, this movie just sends so many mixed messages, like about everything except Kelly and Ian, which is the one like rock of the movie. Because anytime those two are on screen, the movie's good. Anytime Roland's on screen, the movie's generally good. But anytime Sarah's on screen, the movie's bad.
Yeah, it's like...
But the thing is, it does feel like a proper Spielberg movie. Mm-hmm. And it has all the foibles and weaknesses of a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
And that said, like, I'll actually say this. I love Spielberg movies. I'm a big fan of Jaws, Jurassic Park 1, and whatnot. Now, Indiana Jones I consider more a Lucasfilm set of films. It feels more Lucasian, and he did the film editing, and you could tell.
Yeah,
but the thing here is, I can't help but think that Spielberg's maybe a mediocre director.
Mm-hmm. Because in that scene, it's like you could tell it was forced. Because between Miss Eco-Terrorist and Mr. has been on these islands and knows what dinosaurs can do, you choose.
You should listen to Ian. He's always right in these movies.
Yes.
But yeah, like, sorry, we're starting to drag on, and I'm just, but like I said, after watching this movie and after having watched a few other Spielberg movies, I'm like, dude's mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mediocre director with very skewed morals in real life. I'm just judging him there a little, which do leak into his movies, sadly. Now his Jaws and Jurassic Park 1 are solid. I still consider those some of the greatest films ever made. But the rest of his career seems to be mediocre. And maybe he just got lucky twice. Whereas Lucas seems to have genuinely been a genius. I know I'm comparing the two, but I think that people have often said Spielberg's the genius, Lucas the middling writer and director, but I don't think that's true. Now, if anything, Lucas is the genius, Spielberg is the mediocre average guy.
Oh, of course.
In talent. But the thing is, I think I'm gonna suggest that Jurassic Park was a fluke, and that Jaws was a fluke, and Jurassic Park had Michael Crichton there to rescue the film and advise and counsel, along with the actor for Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were veterans and said, well, one of them was an acting veteran, the other a writing veteran, and both said, now, Steven, no flubbing here. But with the second movie, it was much more of a Spielberg film, and Spielberg was given a blank check, and Crichton was not too involved, because Crichton said, here's my finished novel. Do you want to use this? Because I wrote it with you in mind, and a film in mind. And it's a really good novel. But Spielberg kind of said, yeah, no, I'm going to make my own thing.
Yeah.
Which it shows. Now, the father-daughter thing is strong, but everything else seems off. And the horror element I do like. The dinosaurs are on point. I like the dinosaurs, and I like the basically being even more monstrous in this movie than the first one. I love that.
Like the scene where they have to cross the field, and
the raptors come after them. The raptors stuff at the end, I love. People hate it, but I love it.
Because
even them chasing after the trio, I really love. I love every shot in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing. Kelly kicks the one raptor out. She uses the strength of physics and momentum. And people often freak out and go, she used her super strength there. No! It was not super strength, you dumb... Okay, sorry, I shouldn't call people dumb, but like, it was not super strength. She did not outmuscle the raptor. She simply used momentum. And here's the thing. You got to bear in mind, she had to continue roping around some of the wires and whatnot, and or whatever, and the beams in order to slow down because she was so carried all along by the speed. It took her a minute to slow down so she could land. Now, it may not be completely realistic to a limited extent, but at the same time, it's the most realistic outcome in the situation when it comes to her kicking it and how she would accomplish the feat. And I wonder if maybe it is humanly possible given the speed of her momentum and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, let's rate this movie. How would you rate it?
2.5.
I'll rate it a 2. I really love this movie. I really love it. I do like it. I sometimes skip the middle part and the Sarah and Vic stuff.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to confess something. I always forgot what Vic's face looked like.
Yeah, same. Yeah, like the best actors are rolling. This actor, I always forget his name. Kelly's actress. I don't think she had the biggest career, but she should have been a superstar. Like, she's talented. Kudos to her. Really love her work here. And Ian, Jeff Goldblum is a very talented actor. I've seen him in other films. Very talented.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Spielberg's kind of middling.
Yeah.
As a director. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Did you like or did you hate this movie? This movie's good. Like, it's not... Like, it has things over the novel. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But the novel has a lot of things over it. So...